Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Writers of the Future Awards. We are in Los Angeles. Yes, remember Los Angeles, people? It's not really lost. I found it pretty easy, but oh, it's Los Angeles. So the Angels got lost. I understand now. I'm just teasing. To all my friends out in LA, y'all know I love y'all. To everyone that's going to be hearing this in the future, we've been having a lot of fun out here. It's exactly what I've been preaching to y'all for the last 3 years about. Be sure to submit, get involved. We got a lot of first time winners and illustrators, which is amazing. I got a couple of first time winners in the rights. It is possible to win first time. I don't tell anybody to count on it, but it is very possible to win the first time. If you come down here, they're going to take good care of you. You're going to have a lot of fun. I'm actually going to lose about 10 pounds, which I needed to do anyway. So that's a plus. It's very comfortable. There's only one night you got to be pretty, and that's on the gala night. The rest of the time you can dress and be comfortable as you want to be. Jeans, t-shirts, whatever you feel like wearing. So be sure to come on down. And before anybody sends me an email, no more. You're not invited to the gala. You have to have a VIP invite. So sorry. Maybe if you're in town, you give me a call. You come hang out, and I'll sneak you in. But there's limited seating, and I don't even know who's showing up tomorrow night. I heard there might be some fairly famous people hanging out with us. So already, I told that to somebody earlier. They instantly got nervous. I was like, don't get nervous. Just because they're famous don't mean anything. So we have Isabel. Give me. Sorry, I'm going to do it with a D again. Very nice person. So we're gonna get her talking in just a second. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a lot of these interviews to catch up with. They're very short. They're going to be 8, 10, 12, 15 minutes. Be sure to go through and leave your comments for me because I've already advised the writers and illustrators not to ignore your comments unless they're really good. And even then, they should probably ignore me anyway because half my audience got egos bigger than mine. So we've got a lot going on out here in Los Angeles. If you're out and about, be sure to come check us out. We're out at the Roosevelt Hotel hanging out, having a lot of fun. They probably won't let you in the Roosevelt, but you can try. They usually want to know that you're staying here. You can't go up the elevator, that's for sure, unless you get a card. But come out and check everything out. Saturday we'll be doing interviews all day as well, so y'all come by and hang out for the interviews. But so Isabel, what made you decide to be a illustrator?
To be honest, I don't think I actually wanted to be an illustrator. All through, my childhood, high school, even into part of college, I was adamant that I would become an illustrator. I was, convinced that what wasn't a valid career path. There's no stable living from it. And it just, but at a certain point, mid sophomore year in college, I just had this moment where I realized that I wasn't happy really with the idea of committing myself to any other career but art. And I thought, well, you know what? I've been deferring on this dream my entire life. I might as well just go for it, give it a shot once and see where I go.
That's the best thing I can tell you, too. I'd go for it. When I was young, it's a little scary about just jumping off, leaping without looking, but it's the way to go. I mean, because you got to do something you like. I tell this to everybody. If it's not something you enjoy it, in the long run, you're going to be miserable. And of course, you can make everybody around you miserable because you're miserable because you're stuck in something you don't like doing. So I hope you enjoyed. There's lots of stuff to go. So what's your favorite? Why am I so tongue tied tonight? What is your favorite menu? Lord, I'm thinking food. That's what my problem is. Anyway, what do you prefer to use? Color, art? Oil?
Yeah. So I work in digital media. So kind of oil painting, but digital painting. But when I'm kind of drawing for myself, I like to work in ink and graphite.
Don't tell this to the rest of the illustrators, but digital media is probably really good. It's not that regular art's not going to sell. It is. If you're talented, it's going to sell. But I hate to say it, probably right now digital media is where the money is because there's so many companies out there that need stuff. And as COVID's going away, and they're starting to spend money again. And before anybody writes to me, I'm not meaning COVID's going permanently. I just mean it's lessening so we can get out more. These companies are going to be looking to spend money and get things going. And what's amazing to me is how many people have retired. And people younger than me have been retired because they just said, well, school, I've been home for 2 years, I want to go back to work. I'm like, that's a good excuse, I guess. I need my money, people. I want to spend stuff. I don't want to run out of money, so I want to be working. So where you plan on going? You independent? Are you going to work for somebody? Or?
Well, right now I'm a part-time contractor as a concept artist, and then I do use the rest of my time for freelance illustration. So I'm kind of half and half.
Half and half.
And so far, I'm
Wait,
really.
wait, go back. Wait, what was it you just said?
I work as a concept artist part time
okay.
for a mobile game company.
I misunderstood what you said. I thought you said concert pianist. I was like, what? I had to go back and make sure. Concept is great. I mean, that's a good way to go. And companies like that, we want to put you into a full-time job. Just make sure you're happy. Working for a man is not horrible as long as it's a good company, with good benefits and good things. And let's be honest, when you freelance, you don't get the benefits. There's no paid vacations. There's no sick leave. There's no health insurance or any of that stuff. But if you're good, you can get all that. That takes a little while, so you're probably doing it the right way. You're stabilizing yourself so you can make some money, and then you can do what you love. And if it takes off, you got it made. So conferences, your Dragon Con, FanX, any of that stuff.
I haven't dipped my toe in that area yet. No.
It's a little freaky, actually. They're crazy. Just so you know, people go to conferences are crazy. Whatever conference it is, they're crazy. But it's a lot of fun. I usually don't go unless I'm invited to speak. I used to go a lot when I was young, but now, for me to go spend a weekend somewhere, I'm actually losing money. So I tell them, look, this is what it cost me if I was going to be out there. So this is what you got to pay me, and I'll go and speak. And I speak a lot. And that's another thing, too. Remember this. As you're developing your career and you get a little older, you become the mentor. So people will pay you to speak. They'll pay you, and they'll pay you to go out. And then I got a couple of friends who do mentor roles, but they charge for it. It's like art school without actually going to the school. These are people who've already made it and feel like the guys running around here, and so they like helping out people and they'll bring people in under the wing. Most of them, but both schools won't accept it unless you've won something. So you're already there, so it doesn't matter. This is more about not so much teaching the art, teaching the business side of art. And unfortunately, there's a business side to everything. There's just no way to there's no way to escape it. And it also teaches you how to protect yourself against crazy people that want to try to steal your work and things like that. I forgot to mention when everybody was here, but watermark is always a good thing to do, especially in digital art, because then somebody grabs it or uses it, it's yours. And I do see people stealing our work all the time online. I'll see stuff pop up all over the place. I know it's not theirs. And if it's not watermarked, there's not much you can do about it. You can fight them and say stole, but you're not going to get anything for it. By the time you take it to court, whatever you get, you probably already spent. So it's really not worth it unless it's a really high dollar piece. It's not worth it. But so what's your favorite piece you've done? And I haven't seen it. I know you did good here. I seen what you did because I caught a picture of y'all two yesterday. Or was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. The day before. I'm confused. It was one of those days. I got a good picture of y'all. So where you headed with that?
So my favorite piece.
What's your favorite piece?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think my favorite piece right now at this moment, about a year ago, I drew this really big poster for my Dungeons and Dragons campaign
Oh, there you go.
to celebrate our 1 year anniversary. And that was such a rewarding experience because it's kind of like your own little fan base in a way. There's only 5 of us who really love and care about this story, but we all have contributed to it together. And so having the chance to bring that to life and see their reactions and just how excited they were, because I surprised them with it. They had no idea what was coming. And so even just seeing, the person who
that's excellent. See,
runs
that's
there.
a good thing. That probably makes you feel better too. We used to have a D&D show on. The poor host got killed. It was just an accident, but he was a great host. He was always saying, "I want to teach you D&D." I said, "Well, you think I got time to play Dungeons and Dragons?" Because I was learning when I was younger, but then my career took off, and I was like, "Oh well." Unfortunately, it got shelved after that. And but I'm still, I don't get the game like I used to, but I enjoy it, and I know a lot of people who do. I'm actually a couple of professional gamers, and I like to see, it's fun. It takes your mind away. You get lost in it. D&D is a complicated game. It's not something a novice could just come in and understand right off the bat. There's a lot of things in D&D that you really got to kind of know what the hell you're doing, especially if you're playing with a master. You got to really know your stuff. And I think the last Evolve game I played was the Civ 5 version, but it is a lot of fun too. But D&D is a great game. And I don't see quite enough young people doing it like they used to, but I think that's going to change. Well, you know what? It might have changed during COVID. Think about
it's
that.
changed a fair
Yeah.
amount. It's pretty popular
Yeah, I was
these days.
thinking, yeah, because with everybody having more free time, it probably was because it's an involved game. It's fun to play, and there's so many ways you can get done in a game. I actually loved it. It's just, unfortunately, I said my career just got stupid, and so I don't. And then when I do get free time anymore, somebody's got plans for it. Like I had this week, so you see where I'm at. So, I had 2 weeks coming up in December. They already got plans for me to send me, and I have a publicist. Well, I'm not sure she's a publicist, more like I call her a scout. She gets so that's what I call that. But she goes out and represents me to different people, and she's really good at what she does, and I have a lot of fun with her. But she wants me at this place or that place or this place when she wants me. And I said, I'm a mama girl. She said, how much you pay me a year to do this? I'm like, all right, you win. I said, you win. My agent. That's what she is. She's like an agent. And that's something you might think about in the future because sometimes if you find the right agent, they have more connections. It speeds you up. And a lot of times, a good agent, if they think you're talented, a lot of times will come in for a percentage, and you want to come out of pocket with that. So they'll start. And if they're working on a percentage, they're going to push you 10,000 on because they want their money, and the only way they're going to get it is if they're selling you. And that's another thing. So once your artwork starts selling, you will have to attend conferences. You'll have to show up. I tell people it's a good thing to get in and to get your feet wet, just to know what you're getting involved in later on, like when your artwork might be showing somewhere, or if you happen to develop some game artwork or something like that. They're insane. The last gamer conference I went to, I was speaking there on the business side of it, and it was insane. It was just insane. The whole conference was insane. I had a lot of fun though. I really did, and I figured it was going to be a boring lecture and everybody's going to attend. The place was 500 deep because the gamers wanted to know how to hold on to their money, how to make money, how should they invest their money and stuff like that. So it was a long, involved. To me, it was kind of a boring conversation, but it came off really well. We were happy with it. So again, the gaming industry is a good thing. I was listening to some guy the other day on TV talking about designing a new Dungeons and Dragons. So I wasn't sure if he was talking about the board or upgrading the game.
I heard they're making a 6th edition, perhaps,
that's what it
but
is.
I'm not really sure. I think everything's kind of hidden in shadows in the works.
It's a good time for it. We're still half the country's still hanging out at home, and Canadians are still hanging out at home, even though we finally going to let them back in our country again. I'm not sure what that was about. We were letting everybody in the southern border in, but nobody in the northern part is confusing to me. But finally, we're letting them back in. So and that's another area for artists. Don't get me wrong, Camden's got a good, pretty decent artist, but there's only 38 million people up there. And so when you think about it, how many of them 38 million people are actually going to be really good artists? It's not that big. The United States got 300 million people, and we're still limited to how many good artists we have, or good painters and stuff like that. And I haven't really seen an outstanding painter, an oil painter, in a long time. You don't really hear any new artwork coming out. There's nothing to rival any of the ancients, which kind of bothers me. I'm thinking, look, there got to be some talented people. It's 7 billion people on this damn planet. Somebody got to have some talent. And but yeah, we're not seeing the likes of Van Gogh or anything like that today. It bothers me a little bit.
I'm not sure. I think I'm pretty impressed with some contemporary painters.
Oh no, I've seen some good. I haven't seen them. I'm gonna say it. It's not like they're not. Maybe what it is they're not getting the recognition they should get. Because I was in an art gallery in New York. The lady had fabulous art. It was beautiful, and she had a really good eye for color. And speaking of that, I'm glad I remember that there are cities where you can rent the gallerias. It's not really expensive. They'll rent you like a floor space, or if your art makes it into certain magazines or television, they'll let you have space for free. And you can put all your artwork up, and people come in. In the old days, it was all oils, but today it's anything. It's any artwork. Hell, I was watching hanging toilet seats a couple of weeks ago. Some guy was hand engraving the toilet seats and then coming back in line with the color. Yeah, one was like a daisy thing. It was strange. But he's getting $500 a toilet seat. I'm like, I said, America's in trouble. This is making money. We're in deep trouble. But I mean, I've seen sketches. I've seen engraving. I've seen all sorts of stuff in the galleries. And the one's got 2 galleries where they feature stuff. And you never know what it's going to be. But there's a lot of contemporary art out there. But I just feel like nobody's getting the credit they should. I know poor Van Gogh, we didn't know about him until after he died, but still, with America today, you shouldn't have to wait to die for your art to be taken seriously. So I'm hoping I'll start seeing some more. Because I like when hanging out in galleries. I like walking around and seeing stuff. It uplifts me. So I'm hoping you're in all of them.
Thank you.
I really want to see all of y'all do really well. I'm hoping that it'll take y'all up to the next step, the next level. I know personally that there are quite a few artists and quite a few authors that got into the big world from this thing. So keep your fingers crossed. And I'll keep mine. Well, I'll keep one crossed anyway. I was going to ask you now. I forgot what I was going to ask you now. I'm losing my mind. Oh, so would you consider doing something like that? I mean, how many pieces you have right now?
Gallery
Yeah.
showings? I think I would have enough to fill a small gallery space, but most of my work is digital, and I don't think there's quite enough room in kind of the fine art space for digital pieces right now. I think there is something very visceral about a tactile canvas that people can own, and for it to be one of a kind. And I don't think digital art has that same sort of gravitation.
It doesn't until you have it transferred. So what I mean by that is you'll see, like I was talking about earlier, you can turn digital art into real art.
Mm.
Okay, you can have it glass etched and framed. You can do it on paper. You can do it on canvas. So there's ways now to take your medium without you actually having to go back and paint it. It can be transferred over. I've been seeing a lot of digital art being sold like that. Some of it is just fabulous. Some of it, just some of it, because it's a new world and no one knows. You can't stick a monitor on the wall and say, "Here, buy this." Let's be honest, it's not something you can do. You could sell a disc or something and say, "Here, put it in and put it on a big screen in your house or something." That is something I have been noticing at some homes lately. They have been insetting like 60-inch TVs and making it so they can change the screen. One guy has come in and that's his windows. He has no windows in his house. Where there's a window, there's a TV now. And it shows like rain outside, the sunshine outside, or a scene with the deer running, the birds playing. That's actually another form of art they're doing there. So there's a lot of just new stuff coming. I'm not sure, y'all are young enough to get into it and still understand it. Some of the old artists, right, there's a little, they have a problem with their cell phones, so maybe they should stay away from digital art. I like digital art because, if you got talent, you can do it pretty quick. But I have watched people do like stencils or hand drawn or something and transfer it over to the computer. So now we can go in or out of the computer, which is nice. I seen a piece. He turned it into a photograph, is what he basically did. So he sent it to a company. He sent the artwork to a company from the computer. I think it was Microsoft. Microsoft blew it up to, I think it was like 22 inches by like 22 inches, pretty piece, and sent it back to him in a cheap frame, but the picture was great. I mean, it was crisp, clean. It looked like a photograph that someone had taken. Of course, it wasn't. It was digital art. And with digital art, though, you have an option. You can sell them what they want.
That's true.
So if you start, if you put them up in a gallery and 4 or 5 sell, you can when you go to your next showing, you can always come back with the same picture, unless you're selling as a unique piece of art. Because you can charge more, copy you can. So it's always something to think about. But it is the way to go. And just knowing you're in digital it might be a venue to make some money early on. I agree with you. I would rather the tactile sensation of like watercolor or oil or something along those lines. I know a lot of people like to use charcoal. Sometimes I like charcoal etching, sometimes I don't. That's a me thing. Is what that is. I don't know why. It's just one of the things that hits me the wrong way. And oil I like because I can rub my touch it. I can feel the wave and the art and the up bump. Of course, anything nice you can't put your fingers on, so it doesn't matter. I went to Van Gogh exhibit one time. I always want to touch everything. Guys said, "Don't touch it. You're going to jail." He said, "See that little light right there? Don't touch anything." I was like, "Why don't you take it home with me, man?" They got Van Gogh, one that the Germans took. It's going for sale. It's worth $30 million. That's what I asked. So you see, you don't have to die to get rich. We know Van Gogh had to die, but that's because he was crazy anyway. See, that's another thing. So styles for you. I meant to ask everybody. I forgot. I'll get this going on. We're talking Van Gogh and what's the crazy one? He did the crazy half faces. I was talking about his earlier, and that's name went right out of my head. Very famous, crazy artist. Not Van Gogh. What is his name? He does abstract art.
Are you referring to Picasso?
Yes, thank you. Don't know why we were talking about him earlier today. Went right out of my head. Not enough sleep, I guess. So for me, I would prefer Van Gogh over Picasso. To be honest. Now I know people go different ways, but some pictures I've seen of Picasso don't look like artwork. They look like jibber jabber, like my 55-year-old painted it or something. I know it's stupid to say that, but it does feel like that. Because I watch some of these New York galleries and I see things and I'm like, yeah, you got snookered, now you're selling it to us because it's not art. But I guess everything is art, I guess, in some form or another. But for you, who would you prefer? There's a lot of artists out there.
Um, which artists I like as
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have
artist
to. Well,
or
let's do it like this. Let's do a present artist and a past artist. Who would you like?
present artist and past artist. Well, the tricky thing about this question is that I studied art history in college.
Ooh,
And so there are some artists who I like as an art historian, but not an illustrator. And there are some artists who I like as an illustrator, but not an art historian.
Well, that makes sense though. I mean, because you learn something from one and visualize from the other. I can understand that. I'm a big fan of ancient art, old art. I did a lot of research on the early days because we used to get these weird reports and stuff. Well, somebody had sent me a newspaper from England in 1050 AD, and they had all these bubbles floating around the city. Right, nobody knew what they were, orbs of some kind. Well, there was an artist who happened to be out painting that day, so he caught it on canvas. And the local mayor and all the local politicians all seen this. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of reports from local town members. No one still to this day has no idea what it was. Because nothing should be flying in the sky back in 1050 AD. I mean, we didn't start flying in the sky until 200 years ago. So when we put a dirigible, a hot air balloon up in the sky. Before that, there was nothing flying around in the sky. So anytime I hear about an artwork like that, there's pictures of some of the great artwork where it looks like some of the more Christian artwork where it looks like this thing's up in the sky flying behind stuff. Again, there should have been nothing flying in the sky like that. So it's interesting to me. But the artwork catches your eye. You know, there's one piece with Mary Stan's a very beautiful piece of art. It's an oil piece. I'm not sure. I guess the oils just held up better from back in the day. Anything you would have probably put on paper probably got destroyed. But I actually looked at some artwork from Rome, which was very, very interesting. I have no idea who the artist was. I don't think they knew who the artist was. But it was beautiful artwork. You could tell it was cracked and pitted. They were trying to restore it. But I noticed some of the restoration work, and that's something else you can look into. Restoration people make big money. I had no idea how much money they made for doing that. A friend of mine started doing it at the New Orleans Museum. She's now working at the New York Metropolitan. The reason she is, Neil deGrasse Tyson was the curator there at the time, and he's a regular guest. And I got to tell him about it, so he went and looked up. He called the New Orleans Museum and looked at her work, hired her, doubled her pay. Told her after a year, triple it. She was already making 150 for New Orleans. And she said, no, she was telling me all about it, how you got to lightly brush it, go through it. She said, so they'll go through and clean the whole thing, and they'll come back and touch it up in between. And I said, well, doesn't that devalue the picture? She said, no, it doesn't. She said, unless you screw something up, it doesn't. She said, because you can't tell the difference between the pairs, because once the canvas is cleaned, you can match the color much easier. And the colors are going to be faded, let's be honest. I've been around for a long time, but still, I didn't think of that either. That's something else you can make money in. Might not be as rewarding or satisfying, but it'll be a good paycheck. But then, too, you can also be doing your artwork. If you're already in the museum, you have a lot easier time getting artwork around. But, not so much showing it, but they may connect you with people who might be interested in it. Just something else to think about. She's like, shut up, Joy, leave me alone. I got enough to think about. I don't need no more. Where do you think you can be in 10 years?
In 10 years, we're running a bit short
Oh, no,
on
we
time.
got to go. Let's go. Real quick, we're letting you out of here. I don't want you to get in trouble because of me. They'll be like, where'd she go? Oh, yeah, no, you know what? I might pick you up again tomorrow. We might finish it off that way.
Okay. Do you know?
Yeah.
Should I just give them my portfolio?
Oh, yeah,
link?
definitely do that. Tell them where they can find you and everything's at.
All right. So you can find my work at isabelgibney.com, just my first and last name. So ISABEL and then GIBNEY.com.
pretty easy. I'll be sure to go check her out. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to make it short because she's got to be downstairs for 7:30, and I don't want to get in trouble because of my big mouth. Again, Isabel, great talking to you, and we're going to get out of here.